Seats. Calling us from Chicago. Smaller airline seats. I'm about to jump on a plane tomorrow. Long trip to California, Ryan. And I got to tell you, you can tell there is a noticeable difference in the size of those seats.
Yeah, the average seat distance, they call it the pitch, used to be 35 inches. And now it's down to 31 inches. And the reason is that airlines realize, hey, we can pack more people on these flights. Let's do it. We can make more money. We can move more people around. So they've been shrinking those sizes. In fact, some airlines, they're as small as 28 inches. You factor that in with us Americans are getting larger. It just seems to be the trend that we're going in. And you've got a group, an advocacy group, that says, wait a minute, this combination of larger Americans and smaller seats is making it more dangerous should people need to evacuate a plane. Is it going to slow us all down getting off the plane? Is it going to hinder people's ability in these situations where there is a safety risk? Now, they kicked it to the FAA. The FAA said, no, we're not going to make any changes. They went to an appeals court. The appeals court says, okay, FAA, take a look at this. So the FAA has just released a 6-page report, and according to its research, found that there's no evidence that narrowing sizes of these seats and larger passengers would slow down emergency evacuation situations.
Does that make sense to you, Ryan? Again, I know you're a news person. You just report the news. But I've been on enough planes to see what it looks like when you jam all those people in, and it does not look like anyone's getting out quickly.
Just look at the roadways, right? I mean, what's the difference between driving on a Sunday night and driving during rush hour when there are more people, or when there are more trucks, larger trucks? You know, things that can restrict the flow. You'd think that would have some kind of impact. The FAA says essentially that people can get up at the same speed regardless of what size they are and what seat they're in. They can get into the aisle regardless of what size or what seat they're in, and as a result, it really doesn't hinder that flow. They say where people kind of get tripped up is actually at the exit when it's time to jump onto that slide or get off of the wings in one form or another. That's where they slow down. It has nothing to do with the seats themselves.
Now, a whole different issue is the level of comfort flying these days, and oftentimes I'll have the passenger next to me flowing over, if you will, into my seat.
Yeah, the thing I can say about that is we're seeing more flyers than ever. So I guess we're all sucking it up and just dealing with it. The TSA on Friday alone had their second busiest day of checking people through the security checkpoints. Airline prices are coming down. More people have a little more money in their pockets as a result of a better economy. So we're flying more. It seems as though we're willing to sacrifice comfort level a little bit to get to that destination we need to at a reasonable price.
Well, you add to the smaller seats, the bigger people, and the fact that airlines are charging for baggage, so people are trying to jam as much carry-on into the overhead and underneath, that it really does become a packed house.
Yeah, and that's the concern of this group, is are we creating safety issues? I mean, you don't want the scenario to pop up a few months from now or who knows when, of people not being able to get off of a flight because of what you're saying, larger people, smaller sizes, and maybe more luggage or things under seats that could be hindering their ability in an emergency situation to get off. So it looks at this point as though the FAA is not going to budge. The airline industry is clearly not interested in making seats larger at this point because they want to get as many people in there as possible. So it may come down to Congress. The House is looking at something to perhaps, have a standard, a larger standard to help accommodate these safety standards. The Senate really hasn't picked it up, but I guess we'll just have to see if this fight goes to Washington, D.C. now.
Absolutely. Ryan Burrow, ABC News correspondent from Chicago. Thank you.
Take care.